Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca and it is time to fill in our, what was temperature chart but is now orders tracking chart for January. So I'm not sure, I kind of think how I'm going to work this because I need my computer both to track said orders, but also to be able to read your comments. So I think I have a plan to make that work. But before I start, I do want to say thank you to Wendy. This has literally arrived at my door 10 minutes ago, just before I started this WIP and Waffle. But she said how she noticed, I love how you guys notice, getting the labels off the bottles. And she has this little gadget that her son 3D printed for her. I really should use my 3D printers more than I do. That helps to get the labels off. So thank you ever so much for that. I will put that to use because even though you guys haven't yet seen the dekitting and the kitting up, the dekitting of Ferdinand, apologies for my washer, it's on a spin, the dekitting of Ferdinand and the re-kitting up or the kitting up of my next painting, which you guys will see, I've actually finished that one, so I'm probably going to be dekitting later today, which will work well because I've got loads of things arriving soon and loads of work to do. So it would be good to have some videos in stockpile. So yeah, thank you ever so much for that. Maria also sent me some goodies, which are in next week's vlog that I finished filming yesterday. So you'll be able to see those. But yeah, I have pulled up the order quantities for January. Oh, apologies. I have a light that's blinking. Stop blinking. You're plugged in. You're fully charged. Don't be temperamental. Okay, let's see if that works. Yeah, I've pulled up the orders for January. Now, I personally know that I sent orders out every day, Monday to Friday, throughout January. But that doesn't always mean I have at least one order every single day. Because, of course, some come through in an evening that I send the next day and at the weekend. But I am happy to report I do not need to use my 0 orders number, which is good. So I will just be using this case. In fact, primarily, I will just be using 2. Now, I did have a query, a thought, when I did sort of know that I would mainly be doing 1 to 5 orders and 6 to 10 orders. That's apart from launches and potentially Advent. They are going to be my main colours. Now in future years, I may do it according to amount spent, which has a huge variant. There's a lot more of a variant there, or even units sold. So actual individual items sold has a bigger variance in relation to quantity. And actually, it makes me wonder if I should do units sold. I'm looking at my sort of graphs on my website according to, so amount spent per day has very big ups and downs. Units sold has very big ups and downs. But then the amount of orders, not as much, according to my sort of bits. So my thoughts were, and this is all running through my brain at this very moment, is do I switch the purple and the green so that orders 1 to 5 and 6 to 10 are mainly pink and green, which is the company colours? Do I do it that way? Or do I try and get more variance by changing what I'm actually tracking? And therefore track, say, amount of items sold, which would actually, the highest in January is 50. So that would give me all 4 of these if I did items. So that would give me all 4. But then I would still end up with plus 151 probably on launch times. That would definitely hit the top spot. But I would end up using all of those in January, which is a quieter month anyway. Makes me, I'm tempted by both. I'm tempted to have the variety of colour, which I think would be nice. However, the orders at a glance, like the number of orders at a glance, would be quite nice to see, though the colours would be a lot more limited. So, for example, for January, I would only be using these 2, though it would increase around launch. So, for example, if we had a launch, I would see the colours go up and then back down around launch day, launch weekend, and then stay steady otherwise. I think I might stick to orders because I do like the idea of seeing it as number of orders. But I do think, as much as I think pink and purple is gorgeous as like a colour combo, I think I'm going to switch purple and green, because green is, the business colours have pink and green. So the business colours are pink and green rather than pink and purple. So these 2 are basically what I'm going to use this month. I think I'm going to go for that. I don't think it's going to give me as much of a colour variance. Looking at just January so far. Let's have a look at month to date. I'll definitely get more variance next month, primarily because, of course, the sale, though it's not in the same, it's not in the same like scope as a launch, mainly because like it wasn't a set date and time. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to stick with orders. Let me try and get that in the middle and as close as possible. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out which ones are over or between 6 and 10 orders first. So the first one is the 11th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have the number 1 in this one, and I've just forgotten which one it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's just go for this bit in the middle. Oh, okay. I am using a new pen that I got from Maria with, of course, one of our trays. And I put a new glue dot in it last night. So it's a little bit sticky, which is what I want, but still. I will get to comments and questions in a minute once I get to the point that I can just put diamonds down. Okay, so day 11 is done. Day 12 was also more, so we're on number 1. So day 12. So we'll put all the number 1s in day 12. You'll be happy to know my wash is finished now. I'll deal with it afterwards. Okay, number 12, and then we want 6 or more. So it's actually day 28. So 31, 30, 29, 28. So let's go backwards on this one. I think order, like numbers of orders as well, and working with smaller numbers will actually be a little bit easier for my brain when it comes to the monthly do. So this is going to very much look pink, which I'm not against. As I say, it's the company colour, so I'm quite happy to have loads and loads of number 1. Okay, let's have a look how. So I'm just trying to establish where this bottle starts and this bottle ends. And I think that is all this bottle, and this bottle is hidden behind. So let's go for number 2. And number 2 on this one does all go round here. And I've seen some amazing ones with really, really good colour variants, which I do like. So I'm hoping that I don't regret this decision. Maybe I should have thought about it more before I started diamond painting. But here we are. We are going with the flow. Because I want to weigh up, one, what is going to be the nicest to look back on, but also what is practical to fill in on a monthly basis. Because I've said I'm going to do this each month now, so I kind of feel like I should. I don't know whether I should have had more variance at the beginning, but I feel like, see, some of the orders, some days are 1, some days are 5, and there is nothing to differentiate between that. There's also, of course, nothing to differentiate between the amount in the orders. So maybe amount of products would have been better. But I do think this will be easier to see when we've had launches throughout the month and what launches look like. Try not to tip out as many diamonds, but I think we've got all colours in all of these. So number 3. Let's get number 3 in. And then, well, this is definitely part of this bowl, but I don't think that one is actually as well, because all the number 3s are concentrated in the middle of that one. Oh yes, I can see it now I'm doing it, that is the other bottle sitting in front of this one. So that's good to have got that differentiated. After that, it's not actually going to matter because I'm going to be on pink, which means I can move over to comments. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a fantastic week. I finished filming next week's vlog yesterday. And you'll see by that vlog, or you'll hear me mention in that vlog, how I needed to take my house back last night, and I'm happy to say that I did. A new JD Robb book came out, and yeah, I just popped that on. Hubby had gone out to the gym. Caris ended up being late at work. Catherine was out at her girlfriend's, and yeah, I just put my AirPods on and just blasted through. I wasn't on a clean as such. I was doing what I call my getaway clean, which is straightening up all the bits that are floating about. Completely cleared my dining table, kitchen sides, etc. And hoovered the floors. And I find as long as I do that, I gain a lot better control of the house. So yeah, I'm happy to report I did that last night, feeling loads better because of it. New diamond painting storage bags, or diamond painting shipping bags, are due with me today. Hopefully, according to Royal Mail, they are due with me today. So I'm rather excited about that. So hopefully later on I'll be able to start getting some things prepped in the shop. But there we go. So we have 3 days that were over 6. I'm just going to confirm that the rest, yeah, they vary between, of course, 1 and 5. In fact, do we have any 5s? Oh yes, there we go, a couple of 5s. They all seem to be 4. 4 was the magic number for January. So the rest of mine is going to be pink. I think it is going to be, I suppose, a little bit weird, maybe, that mine is all going to end up being primarily pink. But I do think it'll just be different. It'll be different to everybody else's temperature chart, and I'm not against that. So let's get these diamonds placed. Absolutely loving the fact that I'm using Diamond Industrials, I will say. They just make me smile. So yeah, let's see how these bottles come together, and we can move on to comments, because I don't need to look at my little analytics graph anymore. But Inga, she says she doesn't think she imagines certain people's voices in her head when reading. She says as audiobooks usually don't bother her. She says, or she's certainly not experienced the voice sounding wrong. She says she loves to reread a good book, she says, in audio format while diamond painting. Audiobooks and diamond painting go so well together. Unless you're doing the likes of a chart to art. I don't mind a re-listen of an audiobook when doing chart to art, but I will say I am not very good when it's a new book. So I actually did a section of my chart to art last night. I actually did the first section of it last night, and yeah, I couldn't listen to my brand new book at the same time. I could listen to a re-listen or a reread would be fine, but a new one would not. Right, there's something on this canvas. Let's see if... Okay, I don't know whether it's the glue dot too sticky or whether there's something on the canvas. So let me just dabba dabba dabba. Ah, yeah, I think it was the glue dot because that's stuck now. Yeah, I couldn't listen to my new one while doing a chart to art because my brain's too busy concentrating on where things need to go. But when I was cutting cover paper for orders yesterday, I did have it on. And when I was cleaning, I had it on. Okay, that's all the number one over there. She says it's more about the narrator's voice and tone. She says has to appeal to her to begin with. Yes, there are definitely some very good narrators out there. And you think everybody could potentially narrate a book, but no. There is definitely, you know, good ones, or say, when we say good ones, it's a bit like art. It's what appeals to you more than the others are bad. They're just, you know, it's subject to opinion. But yeah, there's definitely a few I love. But then there is also one narrator who actually narrates a couple of different authors that I also listen to. And what, for some reason, like 2 of the series, I'm fine with them having the same narrator because they're sort of linked. It's the same author. But I think they also narrate a different author that I listen to, and that confuses me, them having the same narrator, because the writing styles are different. It's amazing how weird things like that throw me for a loop. But she says it is certainly annoying if in the middle of a series the narrator changes, she says, and then the voices sound all wrong and it's irritating. She says she usually imagines the appearance of a character through, and sometimes it is way off from the author's vision. Yes, I can definitely do that as well. I can definitely picture somebody different to what the author says. And whether that's just me putting someone straight in, you know, my mind from one small thing they've said and not actually paying attention to the rest. But I'm normally pretty good at ignoring that. In relation to the voices, I tend to find, unless I've read the book first and then listened to the audiobook, I don't tend to have formed like a huge opinion on it. So yeah, I can definitely get away with it being different. Or different, or just that's what then implants in my head. But yeah, if Susan Erickson ever stops being the narrator for the J.D. Robb books, that is going to be an extremely weird experience for me. Because yeah, she's just, yeah, it just works. Very much works for me. Bazingirl Crafts, she says, hey everyone. She says she is loving the look of this diamond painting. And yes, this one is, it's different. I love the fact that it's different. I kind of can't believe that we're past January already. But I am loving the fact that it is, yeah, it's just a great concept that I absolutely love. And I may have to actually remove some diamonds. I've noticed a few people on the group have put the 2026 in this top corner up here to let us, of course, know what year this relates to. And I might have to do that. I might have to add that in. But I'll deal with that at some point. Maybe in one of the future months when I decide to get the diamond painting out to do the background, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that now. And then at least I can reuse the diamonds I take off straight away, because otherwise they get sticky. She said she didn't purchase this one as she nabbed the Hunter Tiger. She says she normally watches current and older videos on her phone at night, because she finds my voice so relaxing. She says one of their dogs, she says, would not settle. So she popped on one of my videos, she said, and the pup, she says, was out like a light. Maybe it does work. Luna is currently out like a light. She's had a messing with things she shouldn't mess with time already this morning, and she's now gone out like a light. So hopefully I can get what videos I want doing done before she wakes up fully out of her slumber. Because yeah, it'd be good to box them off, because I'm not allowed to mess with my new packaging when it arrives until I've done my videos. That's what I'm telling myself. And then I'm going to go and have a potter in the shop and a mess with the new things. And then tomorrow I'll do all my editing, because I've also got to edit the vlog. But I was tempted to start editing it this morning, but I know full well I can get lost in editing if I'd have started. So I didn't allow myself to. I feel like you can hardly see where these diamonds are going. So hopefully once we get to number 2, you'll be able to see things a little bit more. It's quite pale to start off with. So she says, thank you for not only giving me some calming time, but also one of my dogs. You are so welcome. So glad I could help, even if it is a way I didn't realise I could help. I'm so happy that I could. Helen, she says, hi, Rebecca and Zesties. She says she's loving the WIP and Waffle. Oh, this glue dot properly needs some priming. She says she's just bought some kits from Figured Art. She says, do you have to check the drills? She says she's learnt so much from my channel. I look at the drills when they first arrive. I can't say I personally am a person for checking the drills, because you can have some drills that look perfectly fine, but when you actually got to put them on the canvas, they can cause a problem. And then you have some that you think, oh, there's a lot of trash in there, for example, there's a lot of bits, but actually the drills themselves are fantastic, and like it looks really, really good when it all comes together. So I'm not personally one for checking drills. You can do, but I find in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't tend to make a difference. And provided you are, of course, you know, depending on where you've purchased from, they will, you know, if they're going to fix any problems with drills, they'll do it whether you come across it when you actually go to do the painting or beforehand. Like they'll fix it anyway. If you have a company that is just going to ignore you in relation to any problems with drills, they'll ignore you whether you tell them as soon as you get it or not. Do you know what I mean? That's just their company stance, is just to ignore. And to be fair, that's not really any of the premium companies anyway, or at least I've found that's not any of the premium companies that do that. So yeah, I just haven't got the time. I like to look at the colours. I like to do the unboxing. I like to see, you know, where there may be ABs or diamond dust drills placed according to the pattern. Just because, well, with ABs, I think less is more. With diamond dust, I think you can get away with a lot more. So yeah, it's it's personal preference, really. Carrie, she says, hello, Rebecca and Zesty. She says she's got updates for us all. She says, firstly, in relation to her migraines, she says they've added a medication temporarily that has been helping. She says, so they have decided to continue it indefinitely. Woohoo! I'm here for something that's helping. That's definitely a good thing. She says the only thing, she says it is a med that they have to periodically check the level of it in her blood. And that's just to check that the levels aren't getting too high. She said it was checked yesterday, she says, and it's actually fine. So they're all good. She also says she's getting nerve blocks and trigger point injections every 4 weeks. She says, which is also helping. She says, along with Botox every 12 weeks. Well, I am just glad that you have something that is working, quite frankly, because I think you've suffered with them long enough. And yeah, it's good to know that you're finding something that is going to work and make things hopefully loads better. Okay. Just having a little reshuffle. I wonder how long all these bottles are going to take. I've got a couple that need binning, a couple of trash drills in here. So I'm trying to use up all the others before I tip any more into my tray. I don't think I'm going to have enough to complete the whole thing, but can at least make a dent. She says next, she says their Foster tinsel he finally got neutered 2 days ago. They're hoping it will help with some of his anxiety, and they're still trying to work through his separation anxiety. She said he destroyed a wire kennel and a plastic kennel. She says, so he is now in a heavy duty metal one that's supposed to be indestructible and inescapable. She says, so far, she says it is working to contain him. Poor little mite, if he's going that crazy to get out. It's a shame for them sometimes, isn't it? You just wish that they'd be able to tell us what they're thinking. Oh, just spotted there's another decent drill before I get rid of my bitty ones. She says he will bark and whine. She says the whole time that they are gone. She says even while they were gone for 3 hours today. She says it makes her so sad to see him so distressed. Oh, bless. Poor little mite. She says they have been bringing him to adoption events and volunteer opportunities. She says, including one that they did last weekend when it was minus 57 degrees Fahrenheit with a wind chill. She says, though they were right inside the door. That sounds freezing. She says, with their rescue, to get him out there, hopefully to find him his forever home. Ideally, she says he would be in a home that can continue to help him work through his anxiety. He's on 2 meds for it, she says, but the hope is eventually that he will be able to come off them. She says she hopes everybody has a wonderful weekend, she says, and she will be spending hers trying to keep warm in this cold, which I am not surprised. I mean, it's been nippy here, or at least it's nippy when the wind gets up. Apart from that, we are starting to see signs of a little bit fresher days. There's definitely been a couple that have been quite a bit milder, which is nice because I love spring and I am so ready for spring. I'm just so ready to be able to have that door open and all the rest of it. At the minute, it's still far too cold first thing in the morning to not have the heating on, and if it's windy for the day, then yeah, it's a cold day. If there's no wind, it's actually mild. Definitely not at t-shirt weather, but it's milder. I still keep remembering the absolutely gorgeous spring we had of 2020, and I kind of want that back. It was just so nice. So nice. We got spring so early, and it was just, yeah, it was just beautiful weather for most of the year. And I kind of want that back. It's the only thing once you've been given something and you're like, oh, I want that again. And of course, it's not my decision to make. Right, all of number 1 is done. So let's head to number 2 and go back to the beginning, because I definitely prefer to work from left to right. Kathy, she says she has loved the WIP and Waffle. She says she's just ordered the temperature chart from Diamond Art Studio UK. She says she can't wait to get it and get started. You will not be disappointed. This is just so nice to do, I will say. I'm really enjoying it. Even though I'm, only part way through already, I'm loving the way it's sort of coming together. And I think it's going to be beautiful once it's finished. And there's so many good examples on the Facebook group of people. I mean, primarily they're tracking temperature, but there's just so many different places that they are tracking the temperature. that there is such a variance, and it just shows how much it can change from one diamond painting to the next, considering everybody's got this, in effect, the same one. It is so hugely different that you're just putting your own stamp on a diamond painting, that it doesn't matter if everybody else has got one, because yours is going to be different, and it's just so much fun. She says, when I was speaking of hospitals, she says she loves going to hers as it has a great cafeteria. She says they go just for lunch. I love it. Absolutely love it. I know because hubby fixes things like hospital beds, hoists, baths, all that sort of stuff. So he visits a lot of care homes and things within the north of England. And yeah, there's definitely one that is superior. It is very much superior to the rest. And if they have like a lemon drizzle cake on, he gets me one and brings it home. It's so good. So good. They do amazing homemade stuff. I mean, they do amazing meals as well. So he'll often have his lunch while he's there, or at least try and make sure that if he's got a job for that care home, it's around lunchtime. But yeah, I don't think our hospital's as good. Angela says she loves the WIP and Waffle and thanks for sharing. You are so welcome. I am glad you're enjoying it. Oh, I have missed some number 2s. I thought I saw some number 2s out of the corner of my eye then. Let's get those filled in. I mean, at least I've not got as many symbols to look for with these. And this time I'm going to have a lot of pink, but I am not against that. Diana, she says, hi, Rebecca. She says, thank you for keeping me company. She says, while she recuperates. She says, last Sunday, which was January the 25th, she said they had record-breaking snow there in Canada. And you guys are so good at dealing with snow anyway. Like, you well and truly get the snow, which is why you're so much better at dealing with it than us. Like, we don't get it. We get like one snowfall time a year, if that. So it's just not worth putting the money into it for our town. Because yeah, like we might get snow for 2 days of the year. Well, normally it's 1 day of snow and then the rest is just it being left over. Just dealing with it on the paths and the roads for however long after that. We just don't get enough. But she says where she lives, she says they had approximately 60 centimetres of snow fall in less than 24 hours. That is ridiculous. Like, that is more than the depth of this painting. Like, this is 45 centimetres, is this painting. I mean, it's by 75 long, but still, that is ridiculous. So even if you work in inches, just think of a diamond painting that's 60 centimetres. In fact, my spaceman was 60 centimetres across. Imagine that in snow. That's ridiculous. She says that beat a record set 82 years ago. Yeah, well, let's hope that record just stays at what it is for a good few years after this. She says, with the blowing wind, the snow drift, she says, made it even worse. Yeah, you would not catch me leaving the house in any of that whatsoever. She says, living alone, she says, all of the shoveling, she says, was up to her. Oh, no. She says, so to keep on top of it, she says she had to go out every 2 hours. She says because the drifts were high and almost causing a blockage to her furnace exhaust. Outside the house, she says, which is very dangerous. She says, and if you were to have any hope, she says, of getting her car out, she'd need to stay on top of it all. Oh, that just sounds horrific. She says, add to that, she says, the lovely piles of hard and heavy snow, the plough leave at the end of your driveway. She says, let me tell you, she says, every part of her body hurt for several days. I am not surprised at all. That sounds absolutely horrific. And yeah, like that needs to stay away for at least another 82 years. That sort of ridiculous amount of snow. We had a light dusting that turned into ice before it disappeared. And that was it for us, thank goodness. She says the temperatures, she says, dropped to minus 21 degrees Celsius. She says, and with the wind chill factor, it was minus 27. She says, and it stayed like that for a few days. She says the piles of snow on her lawn were so high, she says, that you can't see her house from the road anymore. I am not surprised. That is horrific. She says hiring a snow removal service, she says, is probably expensive. She says, but typically, she says, they only get one of these monster storms per year. She says, so she just sucked it up. I mean, it's not good that you had to suck it up, but I get you. I get you. That is just something that we often just have to do, is suck it up. Suck it up and get on with it. She says the rest, she says, are more manageable. Yeah, the rest will feel like a walk in the flipping park after that one. That's for sure. It'll be like a breeze. You've got this now. You've done that once this year. You can rock it for all the rest. She says, all to say, she says, it was great to have my videos to watch while she tried to get the feeling back in her hands, feet and face. She says, under a blanket with a heating pad. I am not surprised. Get all that cold weather gear out. She says, let's just say, she says, she has started to feel her age, but she'll get back to dotting, she says, when she can feel her fingers again. Yeah, I bet you're waiting for spring even more than I am, after having to deal with weather like that. In fact, her last line is, come on, spring. Yes. Spring is glorious. We are all ready for spring. It should arrive as soon as possible, in my opinion. We need spring. We need spring. Right. I've just looked at the time and it has been 50 minutes doing this. And we are not yet halfway because we are on number 2. So this, I may need to rethink how I do this, and I'm not sure how. I'm not against a longer WIP and waffle at all. It's just whether I have the comments and questions or things to chat about to do a longer WIP and waffle basically once a month, which would be when I do this one. But I should have known, because the background was the same. The background took quite a while to do. And I don't, you know, especially when it gets to the point that I am adding more colours in, adding more pots of other colours and not just doing two. That will definitely take longer as well. So we shall see. We shall keep going. What I may do is I may take, I may make myself a cup of coffee, because that's what I like. And I may just fill in number 3. Although I do have a few more comments than I thought. Okay, no, let's keep going for now. Sometimes, depending on the length of comments, I don't quite, you know, it's not easy to judge how long it's going to take me to get through comments. But I do actually have a few more than what I thought when I scroll up. So I think I might just keep going. I may take a pause and go and sort out my washing machine and put another one on. But then I will keep filming. If I get near the end of the comments and I'm not like nearly finished, then I might take a pause and fill in a few, because I was going to take a pause and fill in all the number 3. And then come back and let you guys see sort of the end. But I think I might be all right. Stephanie, she says, she says she can't wait to hear about the pen. Oh, yes. We have so many things all sort of coming together for the shop. That, yeah, once I've got through the storm of sorting everything out, which will take a while, then I need to start working on whatever else may be next. I'm looking forward to Megan having half-term week, and hopefully we can sort of get things all lined up. My brain very much likes to know when things are happening and what, you know, and whether I can do something a little bit early, or, you know, just be able to plan out my days. I very much like to be able to plan out my days. I find I get a lot more done if I can do that. I'm a lot more productive, or at least I feel as though I'm a lot more productive. But yes, pens is one of them. Oh, there's a couple more over there. Don't forget those to make sure I get all my 2s. The last thing I want to be doing when it's only got 4 colours is dipping into the pot, because I forgot some. Christine, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She says her order arrived yesterday. She said, and she spent some time inserting her paint gem into the folder. She says they look so lovely. She says, and she can see why I am so enamoured with paint gem. Yes, I love doing them. I do need to go back to using my spinning wheel, actually, to decide what painting I'm working on. I'll probably do that once I've got another one kit up today, because, yeah, I need to do some more of my paint gem as much as any others. But yeah, I got sidetracked by quilting, which I paused for the moment because I had to tidy up and rescue my kitchen from the aftermath of me cutting loads of fabric. She says she received an Amazon order. She says that included an Art Dot vacuum pen, and so she spent some time trying it out, she says, on the Advent squares. She says she's now completed days 1 to 4. Otherwise, she says she has been doing more on her Dreamer Designs painting, A Magical Moment in Time. She says it has a clock on it and has some ABs, she says, on the hands and the numbers. She says, but she plans to include some gold metallic drills. She says it will be interesting. Oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds like it'd be fun to see what gold metallic drills look like. Good choice for gold metallic drills, though. She says she's also replacing some drills, she says, with diamond dust, which is always a good idea in my opinion. She says your temperature chart will be very interesting, and she says she looks forward to seeing the progress. Well, here we go. We are on the first one of the year. Not much of a colour variant, but I think I'm actually okay with that. I think it's going to work out well because I have switched the purple for the green so that it is company colours a little bit more. I think it's going to possibly work quite well, or at least I hope it's going to work quite well. And I hope I'm not going to have wished that I did number of items ordered to get the variance. But I am, even now, I'm liking the look of this and could imagine this going down for quite a bit more and still liking the look of it, with just the odd little pops of colour when we have a launch. Because, yeah, just a few orders each day always keeps me busy. I mean, in January, it just being a few really helped because it gave me a chance to get other things done, depending, of course, on what was ordered. Some of them took a chunk of time to prepare, but some of them didn't. And yeah, it was quite nice to be able to get preparation for stuff done, which I'm going to have to start doing again at some point. It's trying to fit in my days. I much prefer working to sort of set days of doing things. So today is a YouTube day primarily. It means I still do my admin and I still pack orders, but my primary focus today is YouTube, and I get as much YouTube done as I can. But then I do end up with a day that is primarily editing, and in turn I often then tag that with some admin. So that's 2 days of the week gone on YouTube primarily. And then I have a Monday, you know, is always a heavy admin and order day. So that often keeps me busy. And yeah, that sort of leaves me 2 days for the other stuff. And a lot of the time I need those 2 days just to be in the shop and get things prepped and sorted. So yeah, trying to squeeze in effect another 2 days somewhere just for planning and sorting future items. can sometimes be hard. Okay, I think I got all the 2s. I'm going to go for I have and hope for the best. Oh, I had finished reading the comments. I wasn't sure if I had then. Okay, I am going to go and switch my washing. You guys hold on. I will be back in this exact spot in a moment to get number 3. Okay, I am back. I have had a brew. I put my washer on a spin and got the washing machine on again. And the dryer on. Gotta love my dryer. Okay, let's get to number 3. So Christine has also left another comment, but she says, you were talking about the extreme cold. She says, but she has also been thinking about the of my relatives in Victoria. She said it's been so hot down there, she says, and bushfires. Well, I think I need to dab me glue dot on my hand again. She says she hopes they are all okay. She says it was 50 degrees Celsius during the week. Yes, as far as I'm aware, it wasn't their area. I haven't heard that it was. I normally do. Whether my brother-in-law, who's a fireman, or a fiery, as they're called in Oz, whether he's gone to the area or not, I haven't heard. But yeah, I don't think it is in their area. They are sort of on the bottom on the coast. But yeah, it's just extreme weather everywhere, is it not? Which is not necessarily a good thing. Can we have just a nice calm year maybe with, you know, weather as it is supposed to be? Would be kind of nice. Be kind of nice about now. We don't need the extreme cold or the extreme heat. Nellie, she says, hi Rebecca. She says it is Nellie from Australia. She says she'll be watching my videos from now on, she says, for a few months. She says she will miss diamond painting as she loves it so much. She says, but she cannot face looking at it. She says when she can, she will do some of her canvases. She says, please keep dotting, my friend. Oh, bless you, Nellie. I know it's been a little bit up and down for you quite recently as to whether you can diamond paint or not. But yeah, I am more than happy to keep you company. Whether you can or can't diamond paint, I will be here to keep you company. With lots of different things going on. I don't always get to diamond paint or not. I mean, I did decide to last night after I'd sort of gone through the house. I was like, do you know what? I'm not starting up cutting fabric again. I'm going to keep enjoying my diamond painting on the evening. I think it relaxes me a bit more, to be honest. I did enjoy getting all my fabric sort of organised and sorted out a bit more. But I think I'm going to save... Oh, they're pretty. I think I'm going to save my next sort of big cutting session for later. How on earth have I missed a whole row of number 2s? I've got a whole row here that I've completely missed. My goodness me. That's not just a dip in the pot. That's a whole kit and caboodle. Okay, I will have to go back and do that once I have my tray to use. So I think that might be a, yeah, once I finish this batch that's in here, I'll have to do it. Lady Dax, she says, you did make me giggle. She says, when you talked about getting back to normal. She says she doesn't think she's ever been normal in her life. I don't think any of us are ever normal. I think we set our own normal. That's what it is. You set your own normal, whatever that may be, even if that is weird, which is what all of us in our household are. She says about the coffee bags, she says they are sold on Amazon. She said they do the taster pack, which is what she sent to me, and a much larger one too. She says the tests that she's having, she says, are on her heart. Ooh. She says her doctor may think that she has angina. And when he was saying what tests that they may do, he said they could put me on a treadmill or inject her to raise her adrenaline. She said she told him that if they came at her with a needle, they don't need to stick it in me. Her adrenaline would skyrocket at the thought. I'm with you on that one. She says she is the biggest coward, she says, when it involves needles. I'm the same. I don't like to see them. And I always make it quite clear that they are to keep it out of my line of sight. She says she's the same taking unknown medication. She says she thinks they invented the term white coat phobia just for her. She says the weird thing is, she says P. Jelly is the total opposite. She even watched the op that they did on her hand. She says she's a gory little monster. She says, love to you all. It is amazing how they're different, isn't it? I mean, it's good that you've not necessarily passed your phobia on. That's one thing I always tried to be very conscious of when it came to me not liking needles. I mean, it's not an extreme phobia, but it's definitely something that's there. And yeah, I tried my hardest to like not pass that on to the kids. And yeah, just tried to suck it up is the term that we've already used today. I just tried to suck it up more so when the kids were about. I can't say I was very good when they weren't, but I definitely did my best when they were about to suck it up and not let it show. And obviously you did a fantastic with that with P. Jelly, because she actually enjoys them. But I'm right, she's a weirdo. But then again, aren't we all? Sarah, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, thank you for a great video. She says she was very excited to see that I was working on the background of your temperature chart on this one. She says because she is anxiously awaiting my videos filling the bottles. She says, ever since you first showed us the canvas and then told us the plan to track your orders, she said she has just loved that idea and can't wait to see it. Well, it's turned out a little bit different than what I thought. Not hugely. It doesn't help that January, say we've not had a launch in January because everything ended up being slower than we thought. / I don't think I got my order in as early as I wanted to. And then it did get slowed down. So yeah, there's that hasn't helped this with variety. But having said that, now I have sort of looked at it, started it, and just think about the fact, you know, that I will potentially have a lot of pink and now green. I think I'm okay with that. I mean, we shall see how it turns out fully. You know, especially next month, because we will be hitting like the next colours next month, because we already have for February. But yeah, it would be very interesting, and maybe next year, because I know they are they're working on another one, so maybe next year I bear that in mind, and maybe I track items sold or something, and try and get like a bigger variance in relation to colour. I suppose it depends what you want from it. I'm not necessarily too fussed if there's not a huge variance. You know, it'd be nice to be able to see where peaks and troughs are in the month, but yeah. Oh, there's another number 2 there I've missed as well. Goodness me. There is only like flipping 4 colours in this, and I'm still managing to miss a huge batch of number 2. Oh well, that'll teach me to talk and diamond paint at the same time. Sarah says she thought it was fitting that quite a few people were talking about cold temperatures in the comments. She said it has been a brutally cold winter where she is, and they've had some frozen pipes. Thankfully, she says they got away without damage, but she's been stressing about it, and she's been using diamond painting to distract herself, which is a very good thing to do. Diamond painting is absolutely awesome at distraction. She says your videos, she says, always help with that too. So happy. She says tonight is going down to minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit, which is minus 23 degrees Celsius. That should just be unlawful. That is wrong. She says she's not looking forward to that. I don't blame you. She says tonight, she says, thanks for everything that you do and have a great day. You are so welcome. I hope you have survived the cold, and I'm hoping that it is warming up for you as well. I don't know what temperature it is here. That's a weird shape drill. I'm not sure what temperature it is here. To be honest, I don't tend to look that much at what the temperature is going to be in the likes of winter. I definitely do it more in summer and spring, and more often than not I'm just looking to see if it's due to rain, because I love it once I can start getting my washing out on the line. But yeah, I just know it is getting warmer unless the wind picks up. When the wind picks up, it's still a bit nippy, or still very nippy, should I say. It's just a little bit nippy but fresh when the wind disappears. Erin, she says, thank you for the long video. She says she can't wait to see the bottles all filled up. Well, they are getting there, or at least they are now, as I read your comment out. If I don't keep missing numbers, we will be looking very pretty in the company pink by the end of today. Doro Be Punked, she says, thank you for keeping me company while she diamond paints. She says she's deciding which painting she's going to do next alongside her large project with 320 colours. Goodness me, that's a lot of colours. I do like a big heavy colour painting, but I do find it has to be like a side project and not just my only main project, just because of the different thinking involved. I think that's what affects me. How much thinking do I have to do? The more thinking I have to do, the more I have to have projects that don't involve thinking alongside it. She says it'll be one of the older ones in her stash. She says she is trying to work through paintings from 2024 first. I've still got on my decision wheel to do the oldest painting in my stash. So yeah, it's a nice thing to do, or to incorporate as well, is to sort of get through some of the older paintings, or give them, you know, a little bit more of a chance of getting done. I can't wait. I would love, and it's getting there slowly but surely, but I would love to have my paintings back down to like just a few. I remember when I just used to have, you know, a couple of paintings that had not long arrived, and I'd be working on them quite quickly after they'd arrived. And I think my goal is to start working my stash towards that a little bit more. I've still got a lot, and it's definitely not going to be something that gets achieved this year. I'm not going to be able to do that many paintings. But yeah, it would be nice to have my stash back to, you know, just doing ones that have very recently arrived, rather than doing ones that are many years old. Okay. Very close to finishing number 3, but I am just going to bob in these number 2s. So I had a single one, which is there before I forget, and I had a full row that I completely missed, blanked over, blip in the system. The number 3, there mustn't have been as much as there is of some of the others. Well, there's not, because some of these bottles are completed, really. But yeah, let's finish off number 3. Deb, she says, hello, Rebecca and Zesties. She says she has been doing her temperature chart for the month. She says it's quite colourful this month because of where she lives, which is Southern Ontario, Canada. They've gotten as high as 13 degrees Celsius and as low as minus 14 degrees Celsius. She says, with a feels like temperature of minus 22. Goodness me. She says they have also had lots of snow too. She says last weekend they received 20 centimetres. She says, but northeast of them received even more. She says this has been a tough winter so far. She says, bring on spring. Yes, I think we're all ready for spring now. Wherever we are ready for spring. Because, I mean, I know Australia hasn't had the hottest summer, but some of the days have been really hot. They're probably quite eager to go back to spring as well. Nice fresh days. And then, we're actually on the last comment. I flipping got to them quicker than I thought. But the Michigan fan, she says, hi, Rebecca and Zesties. She says she loves my kit up and kit down videos. She enjoys organisation. Me too. Absolutely love organisation. I am eager to get organising with, you know, quite a bit of the new stuff that's coming. Say the new packaging that's due today. Apparently it was going to be delivered between 9:30 and 11:30. It's not been, but I do expect it basically on the van at some point today. So yeah, I'm very excited to potentially start messing about with that. And I've got new stickers, which you guys will see in the vlog. Or was it in last week's vlog? Might have been in, or this week as you're watching this. Might have been on this Tuesday's vlog. I'm very excited to sort of get organised with that as well. I need to get a few more items prepared with that. And yeah, just sort of get a few things organised in the shop, which you'll see in future vlogs. But yeah, I'm very excited for organisation. I'm also excited to kit up my next painting, which also works. She says your previous videos, she says, of kitting down and showing my organisation, she said, is what she copied and still does to this day. It is. It's a lasting system, that one, isn't it? She says, thank you for sharing your work. You are more than welcome. I do find with organisation, and it's a good job, I love it. But yeah, sometimes you organise something in a way you think will work, and for whatever reason, it doesn't. And you know what? That's okay. Sometimes things don't work out maybe exactly as you want them. And I love being able to tweak things until, you know, they work better. Even in the shop, I've got a few things that work absolutely perfect and a few things that don't quite work as well as I'd like. And yeah, I'm excited to get things labelled up in the warehouse a little bit more, especially when, of course, the new shipment arrives. I do need to go get some more boxes from IKEA, actually. But yeah, I'm excited to get things organised and sorted. In the craft room is still very tidy and stuff. There's still basically far too much stuff in here. I will say there's definitely some jiggery pokery going on at times to make things work. But yeah, I'm glad my organisation videos help you. If I think of any more bigger organisation projects that I want to do, I will be sure to let you guys know. And hopefully, of course, catch it on video. But quite often I never know when I'm going to do an organisation project. Like even doing the craft room, it was more of a, you know, an offhand comment from hubby, a sort of ideas sort of pop in my head that I think, oh, I might like to do that. And it rattles around in my head just for a little bit, sometimes for a few days, sometimes for a few hours. And then something will set it off to be, you know, workable or practical. And then it's full steam ahead. And my craft room was very much like that. It was just the comment from hubby, why do you need 2 desks, that just made me rearrange my whole craft room. And I absolutely loved doing it, and still love that it's all done. And yeah, even now, I've now got a stand and I'm still working in my craft room to do my videos. The conservatory worked for a bit, but I actually do think the craft room and the lights work better. But having it set up in here permanently is still a-okay, and one desk is perfectly fine. I'd have to take it apart if I wanted to be able to still quilt cut on this desk. But I found I tend to cut things more in bulk when it comes to quilting. So now I've realised I can use my kitchen side, and it's actually a better position to cut from because I'm stood up. Like, I'm stood up either way, but I'm not leaning over. I think I'm just going to keep my cutting mat off this desk going forward, and just bulk cut in the kitchen when I need to cut, and then pop everything away. So yeah, things are working out. Let's get these number 4s finished though. These pinks look really nice. I mean, I like the greens in the fact the greens go to a darker green. So I sort of picked, when I was picking the Diamond Industrial colours to use for this, I was picking ones that went from a light to a dark and looked nice together like this. But like the variant of this is closer together than the variant of this. Like, I could have potentially put in 701 there instead of 702, and it wouldn't have popped as much. But I do kind of like the fact that some of them pop in colour variant more than others. Or at least I'm very much enjoying the fact that they do. And I think it will make some colours stand out a little bit more. We'll see what it's like when we get to some of the other colours, but I'm loving this pink. Like, especially considering this is a colour that is going to be used a lot. I know it's going to be used a lot because even when we have launches, like the days after launches, you know, the weekend and the beginning of the following week is often like the busiest, and then it does die down again. But like, orders are always sort of trickling in. It's just the way it goes. I know this pink is going to get used a lot. And I really like the fact that it is Shot Colours pink. I think that's what it is. You can still see what's going on, and you can still see, you know, the extra little bit of sparkle. But it's not as in your face as it could be. And some people may prefer to have it more in your face. And I know some people have picked similar colours but picked some darker pinks to sort of, you know, brighten it up. Some more like magenta type pinks to brighten things up. But I love the subtle pink of this bottle, of the way these look. So anyway, let me know in the comments down below, what is your plans maybe for next week? For next week, I am expecting diamond paintings to arrive next week. So that is going to be a big sort out task for me. I'm going to have to do a lot of counting and checking off of stock, and then I'm going to have to do a lot of packaging up of said stock, which I'm hoping when my new packaging arrives today, it is going to be as good as I expect it to be, because I do know I'm going to need to order more. I ordered like a small amount to see how it's a new company to us, so I only ordered like 500 bags, and I'm going to need a load more than that. So yeah, my next week is probably going to be taken over with diamond paintings. But yeah, what's yours going to be like? Okay, I am done. So let me get these diamonds away, and I want to show you guys a little bit more close up what this is looking like. I am happy I went for the pink and green, I think, because I think they're going to be the most prominent colours throughout. But look, I mean, you can still see it, and it's a gorgeous shop colour pink. A steady January. Oh, I thought that was the door then. It's not. A nice steady January for me, which is good because it was January. January can be very hit and miss. It's great for me to be able to get... Oh, let me go the other way. It's great time for me to be able to get planning and plotting. But it's very nice to see that I had a nice steady flow of orders throughout the month as well. I say February is already looking a little bit more decorative. So if I look at month to date, I'm filming this on the 4th. But so far, now bear in mind it's also including today. But so far we shall be using all 3 of these colours for next month. This one goes up to 20 orders, and I think I was just short. Was it 19? Yeah, 19. So yeah, we'll be using 3 different colours at least to start off next month. Probably only the 3. But then we do have a launch, or we will be having a launch at the beginning of March with a lot of new products. I expect all new products to be here. So yeah, there'll be a lot of variety come March. So get all your staples in February, because we've got the discount code live that gives you 20% off. I know I had a little bit of a soft spot and decided, sack it, let's go for 20% because it feels like a decent amount. Probably should have done 10, but hey ho, we're there. So yeah, we've done a 20% off discount code for the month of February. So go and get all your staples. There's been a lot of paint gem sets, a lot of logbook inserts, a lot of cover paper, and stickers, all that sort of thing. There's been a lot of that purchased in February. So if you've got any staple things that you're after, get them now while they are discounted, because come March there will be plenty of pretties to entice you. And yeah, that is my month of January done. Thank you so much for joining me for this WIP and Waffle, and I will speak to you all again soon.